Joined on Chamber Amplified now by Chris Caldwell with the Black Heritage Library and Multicultural Center as they get prepared to launch a new leadership and communication series. We're going to talk all about that today because I think it'll be a great resource for area businesses and organizations. Chris, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Doug. I'm really excited to be here.
It's exciting because I know we had talked about having you on the podcast when we met for coffee some months ago, and
Lord, yeah.
Finally, we're like, hey, this is the thing to do it on. So let's talk about this leadership series, kind of the genesis of it. What made you decide to go with a monthly series, and what all do you look to include in it?
Yeah, so something that so I've been facilitating workshops now for the better part of the last 20 years, and something that has stuck with me every time that I've done workshops is regularly. You come in, you give a 2, 4, 8-hour session. Maybe if you're fortunate, it's a multi-day retreat, mm-hmm. right? But one way or another, there's not a lot of follow-up. There's not a lot of consistent touch point and engagement. And as I've been working in this sphere for so long, one of the points of successful coaching is just being able to make consistent touch points with the folks who you're working with, helping folks to draw connections between foundational materials and more advanced information. Mm-hmm. And so when I was stepping into my leadership role with the Black Heritage Library and Multicultural Center, I really wanted to be able to deliver professional development materials that everyone could use while simultaneously making folks or equipping folks with the tools to be able to connect more effectively across differences. And my field of research is in communication and persuasion and conflict mediation. So I was just like, this is going to be the way.
That's when I saw the list of topics per month. That's what really piqued my interest. It really weaves in a lot of different things, a lot of things that are very on mission for the library and multicultural center. A lot of things that are very on mission for area businesses, organizations, and really, I think we'll do a good job of blending those. But I imagine it took a little while to come up with the list, and some stuff had to be left on the cutting room floor, and some things got added. But tell us just a little bit about some of the sessions so people can kind of get a feel for what's coming up starting in January.
Absolutely. So, central to effective interpersonal communication is an understanding of who it is that we are as communicators. Who are we? What are our values? What makes us tick? What are our aspirations? How do we effectively articulate our goals to others? So as we start these workshops, we're starting at very foundational pieces of identity. How do we understand ourselves in community? As we move through the year, we start ramping up on really understanding ourselves in relationship to others. And so we have a whole session on being wrong, how to be able to effectively move into a space where chances are likely the hypotheses that we have about the world around us aren't always going to work, and how do we move into a space of wrongness mindfully so we can derive the most effective insights from those moments of failure. And that's actually another month's worth of a workshop is how do we generate positive and productive insight? How do we how can we utilize our skills and abilities to be invitationally assertive? So something that I've run into as I tried to train on assertiveness is folks regularly think that assertiveness is bossiness. Assertiveness doesn't have to be bossiness. Assertiveness Yeah, assertiveness is I understand who it is that I am, what it is that I'm trying to accomplish, and how it is that I want to go about accomplishing that. So, how can I bring people on board to actually help row the boat in the direction of accomplishing my goals? Um, so yeah, that's through the middle. As we work towards the end, we do have explicit workshops that are looking at different kinds of interpersonal and intercultural communication theories, and how it is that human cognition really helps in some ways with our leadership, interpersonal and intercultural communication, and how it can be a detriment if we're not engaging in a full, mindful, and intentional way. So like that's the core, and then we have a few different ways to go about delivering it. But we can probably talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the one that jumped right off the page was to me was being wrong and how to handle being wrong. Not only can we probably use a little bit more of knowing how to do that just in the world in general, but certainly in the business within organizations, we're
Yeah.
not going to bat 1,000. Nobody bats 1,000.
Yeah.
So how do we then move on from that without it being this huge crisis point within an organization? I think that's absolutely huge to address.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so I'm going to give you the elevator pitch version of that particular workshop. So let's start here. Um, Human cognition, if we're looking at current cognitive psychological theory, is regularly agreed upon to be somewhere to the tune of 90% or more implicit and inductive. Implicit and inductive. And it's because of the fact that our brains can go from a really narrow amount of information and draw really wide conclusions, inductive, and implicit. Fun fact, the neuron firings that happen in our brain, we have I think it's over 10 million neurons fire every second. But
No
humans,
wonder I'm so tired all the time.
yeah, no, you're like, there's a lot
That
there.
seems like a
There's a
lot. Yeah.
lot. There's so much to what you just said. um, but yeah, so there's about 10 million neurons that fire off every second, and humans only have the ability to attend to like 30 to 50 of those firings. And so because of that, if we understand that, there's a certain measure of grace that we can take for other people and for ourselves. Have you ever been in a conversation where somebody is like laying out what they say or what they think is like very clear logic, and you cannot put the breadcrumbs together to save your life? Like you hear their logic, but you can't follow it, right? Have
Right.
you ever been?
As I'm working through something on tech support for something else, I am experiencing that exact issue.
Right. And so when we step into any given circumstance, the way that we move by ourselves is implicit and inductive. We have a model in our own heads. And what ends up happening is we try our best to act upon that model. We try our best to make the world fit into the square hole, like the round peg into that square hole. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. And if everybody is able to develop a comprehension of their own minds as probably being right, but also having a very high latitude that you're wrong, it makes things go easier. And I'll give one other piece on this, and I'll ask your audience, what does it feel right, or what does it feel like to be right? And this question's for you too, Doug. What does it feel like when you're right?
Great. I mean, I experience it almost every day, Chris. So, you know, it's outstanding.
That's great. Okay, so then like it feels great.
Yeah,
It's affirming. It's positive. So what does it feel like when you're wrong?
I hate it. Like from a person, like I'm willing, like I will admit when I'm wrong. I never want to be the person who won't admit it. But like knowing that if I was wrong, and then how did me being wrong impact things? Did I create an issue with an event that we're running or something like that? That always feels horrible.
Yeah. And see, so Catherine Scholes, who I lean on fairly heavily for this workshop, she ends up bringing up this concept called error blindness. And functionally, error blindness, the way to kind of think about this is, um, we don't actually know what it feels like to be wrong. We know what it feels like to find out that we're wrong. When we're doing something wrong and no one tells us that we're wrong, it's feels like being right.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is we're like the coyote in the Looney Tunes cartoon. When we're wrong, we're like the coyote after he's run off the cliff, but before he's looked down to figure out that there's no more earth underneath his feet. So we're just going to keep on walking. And that's another piece to wrongness. Like we don't know, we don't have an onboard sensor for our implicit and inductive senses to be checked. The only way that we can do that is if we develop a working community that is comfortable and confident in helping us explore wrongness as it's happening.
One of the other things I like about this series, it looks like there's different ways to be involved in it. Obviously, there's a monthly session for it. There's the bona fide program, so that seems like it's a little of a deeper dive into it and everything. Can you tell us a little bit about the different ways people can get involved?
Absolutely. So, yeah, we're running these monthly at the Black Heritage Library and Multicultural Center to start, which is 817 Harmon Street here in Findlay. They're $60 for each session, which I personally think is a really great deal. All things considered. Um, if you are a business owner, if you are a shift supervisor, if you are a manager of a larger team, or heavens, if you are a VP of a very large, division, um, one way that you can actually engage in a way that is very cost effective is to buy in for our year-long program. Functionally, what ends up happening is if you sign up um, for a monthly one-off, it's expected that you, Doug, would be in that chair.
Mhm.
But if you sign your organization up for a year-long seat, anyone in your organization can be sent to occupy that seat. So
Okay.
it becomes an open chair, and it's at a significant discount because functionally it's $220 less to just buy it as a bundle and go. Um, and then there's the bona fide program. Here's what I want folks to know, Doug. I need 10 brave, intrepid, um, growth oriented professionals who want to learn, grow, and improve their overall skill set. So, the bona fide program, I pulling from 13 years of teaching in higher education. I've taught classes, freshman through graduate level courses, um, up and down I-75 and in different states. Um, my What I've done is I have built what is functionally a sophomore collegiate level class
Oh, wow. Okay.
around. Yeah, I have built a sophomore level class around all of this content. So yeah, if you sign up for the Bonafide program, you're expected to attend all 12 of the workshops because it's included in the price of the Bonafide program.
Right.
Um, but what you're also expected to do, there's going to be readings, like mandatory readings, mandatory reading responses. We're gonna have quarterly service projects around the community to put some of these skills and tools into practice. And from my experience in higher education, I have a really great connection um, down in Costa Rica for a service learning program. Um, Basically, the cost of the Bonafide program has a goodly sum of that trip built into it. So after successfully completing the workshops, successfully completing the readings and the reading responses, going out and doing the volunteerism, and then going abroad and putting your intercultural communication tools to the test outside of the United States, you get a plaque. You are a bona fide person-centered leader as far as the Black Heritage Library and Multicultural Center is concerned. And I will go so far as to say, for those leaders who invest in a professional coming into this program, you will not be disappointed. Honestly, I make a guarantee of that. If you are disappointed in the quality of this workshop, I'll give you your full money. I'll give you a full money back refund, dollar for dollar. But I guarantee that you will be satisfied.
It's one of the biggest things we talk about when I talk to area businesses is they are having trouble developing leaders within their organization. It's something they want to do. It's a lot of times very hard to set those things up internally. So I think having external programs like this are a good way to get involved in that, whether it's doing it just one course at a time or all the way up to the modified program. So if there were a business or an individual interested in taking part, how do they get signed up?
Yeah. So if you're just trying to do the one and done or the $500 options, and you're an area individual who's just interested in learning, what we functionally have set up on our website, blackheritagecenter.org, blackheritagecenter.org. We have the means by which to sign up monthly or annually for these workshops. If you are a business, functionally, you can. Or I have a sign up sheet for individual days, monthlies, and for the Bonafide program. As folks sign up for those pieces, that's all that the person has to do. From there, the Multicultural Center will bill the organization with an invoice directly. If you're an individual who wants to participate in the Bonafide program, you can email me directly. My email address is ccaldwell0707 @gmail.com. So it's my first initial, my last name, CALDWELL 0707 @gmail.com. It really is open to anyone who wants to build those skills. And our monthly meetings are from 11 to 1 every third Thursday of the month. Tickets are available at the door if you're just rolling in. But I would like to have coffee and donuts available for people. So
That's important.
It helps to have an RSVP. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Chris, I think this is a great idea. Happy to be able to talk with us about you and put it here on Chamber Amplified. Thanks for joining us today.
I appreciate your time, Doug. Thank you so much, and have a good one.